To begin this morning in Memphis with new developments in the investigation into the death of Tyre Nichols. And this morning, that city is on edge.
5 now fired Memphis police officers are now facing second-degree murder charges in connection to Nichols' alleged killing. Those officers, Justin Smith, Emmett Martin, Desmond Mills Jr., Demetrius Haley, and Tadarius Bean. Authorities say the men were all involved in a traffic stop that led to Nichols' death. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy announced the charges yesterday at a news conference. He was joined by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
While each of the 5 individuals played a different role in the incident in question, the actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyre Nichols, and they are all responsible.
Nichols' family was shown the footage of the January 7th traffic stop earlier this week. They say it shows officers beating the 29-year-old for 3 minutes. Their legal team is comparing it to the 1990s police beating of Rodney King in Los Angeles. Authorities say Nichols died from his injuries 3 days later. Attorneys for 2 of the police officers, Martin and Mills, are also speaking out. They're calling for a fair trial for their clients. They say they intend to plead not guilty.
I would just caution the public to reserve judgment. Know that there's always more to the story.
No one out there that night intended for Tyre Nichols to die. No one. That's shocking. That's shocking to the officers.
Still, the charges won't erase the pain felt across Memphis and across the country over Nichols' death. More than 300 people gathered last night for a candlelight vigil in Nichols' memory. This as Memphis authorities prepare to release the footage from the traffic stop. That'll be released later today. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis says she expects citizens to be outraged. Nichols' mother is calling for peaceful protests.
Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. So, Danny, good morning. First of all, I saw you were nodding along to what Mark was saying there in terms of some of these traffic stops. Let's talk right now about this video and the anticipation of its release and what investigators are going to be looking for. I mean, they've already seen it, but what are you going to be looking for example, as somebody with a legal background?
Right. There's going to be apparently a number of different videos because there were a number of different body cams. But in addition, there are what they call pole cams. The city of Memphis uses a company, I believe it's called SkyCop, but they install on poles, video cameras that are triggered sometimes by a gunshot or maybe movement, whatever the case may be. But reportedly, they caught this encounter. So you're going to get 2 different angles, at least, one from body cam and one from the pole cam. The reason that's significant is that sometimes body cam, it's amazing if it's high def for picking up furtive movements or maybe anything else that may be disputed during a car stop, but they can be jostled pretty easily if the police officers are wrestling with someone. That pole cam, assuming it caught the entire encounter, might give us even more perspective, even if it's removed maybe even by 50 yards or so.
So, Danny, yesterday we heard from 2 attorneys representing some of the officers. Let's listen a little more to what one of them had to say. We'll talk about it on the other side.
We obviously have started to think about potential defenses. We are getting to know our clients. Unfortunately, we've all over the last couple of years seen videos where there's police brutality involved. And so I would just caution the public to reserve judgment. You're going to feel things. You're going to experience emotions, but know that there's always more to the story.
So, keeping in mind you have not seen the body camera footage yet, but what could we expect from the defense attorneys here as possible defense?
Well, those defense attorneys are going chapter and verse with the what to say when you don't know what you're going to do about your case yet. You hear a lot of the standard language there. You've only heard one side of the story. Hold out and wait till you hear both sides. That's what I would be doing if I was sitting in their spot, which is they've got a really difficult, high-profile case with defendants who are not popular, and they know nothing about what's in discovery yet. All they know is they're about to get hit with a sledgehammer when that video gets released. So they're in a very unenviable position there, trying to come up with some initial defense, which really at this point could just be wait until all the facts come out.
Right, but one of the defense attorneys we heard at the top of the show said nobody intended for Tyre Nichols to die. Do prosecutors have to prove intent?
They don't have to prove specific intent to kill. Second-degree murder in Tennessee is actually a very concise statute. It basically says whoever kills with knowledge. And a knowing killing is one that occurs when you do something that is substantially likely that death will result. So you may hit somebody with a bottle and say, well, I was only intending to hurt them. But if they fall over and hit their head and they succumb to their injuries, then if you knew that hitting someone with a bottle, for example, is likely to cause death, you can be guilty of second-degree murder, at least in Tennessee, as that statute defines it.
Danny Cevallos, thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.